Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back, students. So we are on lecture 15, part 2 of the introduction to computing course. So we were discussing how to design for mobile apps and websites using Adobe XD, and in the previous class we started discussing how to create and manage artboards, and inshallah today we are going to discuss how to add shapes or how to work with different types of shape in Adobe XD. Remember that Adobe XD is used for designing different apps and web pages for mobile applications and for websites. So please keep in mind that design and coding are two different things. In designing, you do not worry about how it will be implemented. You just work with the UI, user interface, and the user experience, whereas in coding you do the actual implementation. So with that, I'll go to back I'll go back to the Adobe XD. So in the previous lecture we were discussing how to add different artboards, how to work with layouts, how to change their size, their dimension. So today we are going to work with different types of shapes. So I'm going to create a new application for Google Pixel 3 XL, and straight away I'm going to save it. Okay, I'm going to save it. So let me call it adding shapes, and let us save it. So you have now two options. My documents, my XD documents are now directly saved in on the cloud, but you can come over here and you can save your documents by clicking save as to your own computer. So it's up to you how you save it, but I'll always recommend to have an internet connection and save your document on the cloud, because you can recover them, and it's a bit safe to add your documents on the cloud. Okay, with that, let us jump to different types of shapes. So you have this select tool, and you have rectangle tool. So in order to add a rectangle to your artboard, so you just have to click it, and you can draw that shape or rectangle. So let me draw it. So here you can see that you can draw a rectangle, but if you want to draw a square, you can click it and you can hold down the shift key. So you will see that you have created a square. So every shape has associated properties on this right panel. So you have the width, the height, the x-axis position, the y-axis position, the rotation. You can flip it vertically, horizontally. You can again flip them, flip horizontal and flip them vertically. So we are going to see all these options. For now, I'm going to increase the size of the square. So you can just hold down this small circular area. So if you are holding down the shift key, then a square will be created, otherwise you will be creating a rectangle. So you can say change the width and the height using these small circles, or both width and the height. And if you click on this inner circular area, so you can change the outer border and change the shape of that rectangle. So you can, if I click here and hold down the shift key, you will see that this type of ellipsis has been created. Alright, so let me go back. Um, so I can directly add some width and height, the x-axis position, so let me make it 0, and let me also make the y-axis okay, let me select it. So you can see that it is positioned at x0 and y0, but you can like just simply click it and drag it to whatever position you want. Okay, so with that you can use your cursor keys to change the position, the height and width. Okay, with that let us move to some other properties. So you have the opacity. Currently it is 100%, but if you make it 0%, you will see that it has completely disappeared. So you can like change back the opacity to 100. Okay, so for now we have the same radius for all corners, but you can change this radius, so whatever you want. I'll make it 50, so you can see that if 50 radius is applied at this right top corner. Okay, so you can also change the fill color. So currently it is white, but you can give it any hex code. So I'm going to give it complete black code. You can add this color to your panel. You can add any other color by clicking on this eye tool. So if you want to add this color, you can add it and then add it on this panel. So let me create another shape. You can change the name of this, like, let me call it shape 1, call it shape 2. Okay, so with that you can work with the linear gradient. So you can see that how the gradient changes. With this line, so that is looking better. And you can change the color from the main window panel. Change the opacity. Okay, that's looking fine. And then you have different types of like color codes, RGB, HSB, so whatever you like. Most of the time we are going to work with the hex code. You have a radial gradient where you can like change the color right from the center. That's looking better. But I mean there are a lot of options from which you can work on with different types of color. You have a solid color, linear gradient, radial gradient, and then you have border color. So far we have border color of black, but you can make it anything that you want. You can completely remove the border or add the border. If you remove the border, you are going to see a shadow. So you can see the shadow on x-axis, and on y-axis you can give it any value of 44. So now the shadow appears, and let me change the value of B as well, and this is the background black. for the moment. When I click it, it completely disappears. So you can see that the image or the shape is blurry. You can once again change the appearance, but I mean remove this blur option. I'll add the border, and then you have different options. So if you zoom in by this zoom tool, you can see that you have different options for the corners of your shape. So you have this type of border. Let me change it to 13. Okay, so the dashes are 13, the cap is 13, size is 1. So I'm going to increase just the size, make it 10. Okay, so now you will see different types of border over here, and the round cap option. These are the different types of options that you can apply. Okay, similarly you can like add other shapes like ellipse, uh, polygon, lines, pen tool. Let me check the time. So inshallah we are going to discuss the other types of shapes in the next part of the lecture. So till then, take care and Allah Hafiz.